Welcome to another episode of Heat Check. We have a very special episode lined up for you guys today. We are joined by William & Mary basketball head coach Dane Fischer today, so sit back and enjoy the ride as we discuss Tribe basketball today. I'm joined by
Brandon LaRocco,
Joey Bohley,
Dylan Wolfson,
and Dane Fischer.
And I'm Abhishek Goel. Let's hit it. All right, so we would like to welcome William & Mary men's basketball head coach Dane Fischer with us today. He's joined us in the studio. Yeah. He is fresh off the heels of an exhilarating 80-79 win at Wofford last night. Just tell us a little bit about that, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on.
Love what you guys have done with the place here. Last night was a great game. If you had a chance to watch, it was a high-level basketball game. Wofford's really good, really tough to play at home. They'd won 17 straight at home going into last night, and it was a real back-and-forth game. Both teams made some runs, and we got up by 8 with just under 4 minutes left, and then they made a run, and it was tied like in the blink of an eye. But we were able to just kind of stay calm and stay the course, and had a couple of big baskets at the end and a couple free throws, and then we thankfully had I guess we didn't have the ball last, but we had the last real possession, and Bryce Barnes made a great play getting to the rim, and thankfully there kind of just over half-court heave fell short, and it was great. I was really proud of the way we played. I told the guys afterwards if we would have lost that game by a couple of points, still really proud of their effort. I wouldn't have felt that much different, maybe a little bit, but but it was a great effort, and it was fun to go down there and get a win. That's a tough place to play.
For sure, yeah. So what kind of things were working last night against Wofford that you think should continue for the rest of the season? What do you think are the key takeaways from the game?
Well, it's going to sound funny to say this because we gave up 79 points, but I actually thought we defended pretty well last night.
Yeah.
They're a really good offensive team, and they shoot the three really well.
Mm-hmm.
They were 6 for 9 in the first half, and we held them to 4 for 14 in the second half, which was a real key for us. But we're really working on the defensive end right now. Our guys are playing extremely hard there, and if we're going to be good, especially later in the year, I think you got to be able to defend and get stops, and that'll certainly be something that's important to us. I think we've got some pretty good versatility on offense. Obviously, Nathan Knight and Andy Van Vliet are two matchup, nightmares for other teams. Sure. with their versatility and their size. We've got guys that can get in the paint. We've got guys that can make shots from the perimeter. So I think we have a good balance there. And then probably more than anything is just our ability to play well together. And I think that this group has displayed some real on-court chemistry early on that I maybe wasn't anticipating we could do this early. I think that's been a real positive. So, do those things going forward and see what we can do. And stay healthy, of course.
Yeah, for sure. So, of course, you know about all the turnover this program has gone through over the last year. And so I'm just curious as to what do you say to guys like Luke Lowy and Quinn Blair that have to have like a bigger role this year than maybe they anticipated having, and how you help guys like that step into a bigger leadership role? Yeah,
there was a little bit of turnover. You're right about that. Coming into this season, with the guys we added, we felt like it was really important to add guys that would complement the returners that we had. And with all of the guys in the program, we said, this is a fresh start for everybody. We talked about laying our foundation, and this summer we spent a ton of time talking about our core values and what that looked like in our program, what that was going to mean, and everybody, I think, has done a great job of really embracing that. We then this fall talked a lot about just focusing on our preparation and really honing in on all the things from practice to extra shooting to lifting to film, everything that goes into us, playing well. And then, as we got closer to scrimmages and games, we started to look at, roles, and it was very clear that, guys like Luke and Quinn and Thornton, those guys were going to have much bigger roles than what they had in the past. And, we just talked about just rely on the core values and the work you put in. to go out and perform as well as you can. And we've talked a lot about not getting fixated on results, and whether that's a game or just even in the flow of the game, each possession. Guys are going to make mistakes. Guys are going to miss some shots every now and then. Like, you got to just be able to play through that. And I think that they've done a really nice job of having that mindset of just going out and playing as well as they can, knowing that they'll make some mistakes. And one thing we try not to do as a staff is pile on top of that, and just let those guys play freely and go from there. And the returning guys have been really, really good for us.
Just real quick, you talked about extra shooting in there. How much of that has Miguel Ayesa been getting? Because he was money last night.
4-4. Miguel couldn't really shoot till he got here. Gave him a few pointers, but no, that's the thing that he does best. And he's one of those guys that every time he shoots it, you think it's going in. He's done a great job getting himself ready in terms of the speed of the game and adjusting to the defensive side, probably more than anything. He's practiced really, really well the last 2.5 to 3 weeks, and that's what's got him. That's how he earned the opportunity to get on the floor last night. And he certainly took advantage of it on the offensive end and gave us a huge lift at both halves. But like I said, he's really come along defensively, and that's really helped his game, because he can. You got a guy like that can stretch the floor. That's a real element for your offense.
Yeah, for sure. So talking more on the offensive end, or I guess offensive and defensive end, it must be a matchup nightmare to go against Nathan Knight and Andy Van Vliet. Can you just talk about what it's like having those kinds of assets, like that size, that kind of skill set available, and how it works in the offense and defense, both sides?
Yeah, so I think you're right. I'm glad we don't have to prepare for guys like that, because they're really good. They're really versatile. This is my 15th or 16th year at the mid-major level, and I don't know that I've seen a front court like that, just with how versatile they are. So, from an offensive standpoint, we run everything through them. They can both score posting up. They can both score out to three, and they can score anywhere in between. They can play off of ball screens. They can play off of handoffs. I mean, you can really do just about anything you want to do with a front court player with those guys, and they've done a great job of learning how to play together and complementing each other really well on the offensive end. Defensively, the challenge when you have two front court guys is, can you guard smaller lineups? And American and Wofford played 4 out basically the entire game, and Andy was always out there guarding a perimeter guy, and has done a great job working on his technique, learning how to guard the quicker guys out there, use his size to his advantage, and then Nate obviously is a great anchor for our defense at the rim, and he's done a great job of protecting the paint without getting into foul trouble, which has been a big thing that we've talked about, because one of the biggest things we talk about going into the game is we got to have those guys on the floor, and the only time we want to take them out is if they're really, really, really tired. And those guys have both done a great job of playing without fouling, and have obviously had some big performances for us.
So with Nathan Knight, he's the draft prospect, of course. Can you speak on what kinds of things that he's looking forward to accomplish this year, and how you intend to, or how the adjustment might be for him to the majors, to the league?
Yeah, so for Nate, he was so excited just to play this season. He was really looking forward to coming back for his senior season. He wants to get his degree from William and Mary. Sure. I mean, he loves it here, and it's been really fun spending time with him, and just getting to know him and learning about what his experience has been here, and how he wants to finish his career. The big thing he wants to do is he wants to help us win, and that's he's bought in to everything that we've talked about. Obviously everything we're doing is different on both sides of the ball, and he's been phenomenal with that. He's got all kinds of ability to play at that next level, and that stuff is going to work itself out as this season comes to a close, and he turns the page with that. But I know for him, his senior year, he's just looking forward to playing, going out and competing, and trying to help us win. And he's been a ton of fun to work with, and he is a special talent without a doubt.
All right, so focusing more on what your experience has been, you've been an assistant coach at the mid-major level for such a long time, and this is your first year as a head coach at a university. So what has that experience and that transition been like for you?
So probably the best thing to prepare me for it is the guy that I worked for at George Mason and at Bucknell, which was for 11 straight years. When he hired me as an assistant, he had talked to me about, I need you to think like a head coach but act like an assistant. And I thought that was really good advice. He gave me a ton of responsibility, relied on me heavily to do more than just the basketball stuff. So I thought that really helped prepare me for this. The transition, you just have to go do it. You got to go through it, and there's things that you think you're prepared for, and then there's some things that you do that you just haven't experienced yet. And probably the biggest change for me has been the demand on time and just the different people that you have to be in front of and make decisions for and that kind of thing. And that's probably been the biggest adjustment. I've loved every second of it, even when we were dealing with the roster turnover and all those things. It's just been a great experience so far. I'm learning something new every day, and I'm really, really thankful for this opportunity.
Yeah, so focusing more on the season then, you've obviously done a good deal of scouting and preparing against the CAA all off-season. So how do you think the Tribe will line up against the rest of the league this year, and what do you think what are you expecting from this season?
Yeah, so the interesting thing about our league this year is how much turnover there was from last year, us included, So it's a little bit, we certainly watched film last year and had some ideas to get some personnel things for different teams, but there's such a different look for so many of the teams that it's hard to know exactly what it's going to look like. I think that we were picked to finish 7th in the league, and I told our guys, I said, the way you get picked in the preseason is based on what's happened in your program from the time last season ended until whatever the date is they announce the preseason pick. And the way a season ends up is based on the work you do from the time the previous season ended through the entire season. And we've just talked a lot about just focusing on our work and trying to get ourselves as good as we can be. So as much as we watched some of the league stuff going into it, I think it's really different. The teams are so different, it's hard to say exactly where everyone's going to stack up once we get there. I do know this: it's a great league. Every year I've been coaching at this level, I've had at least one game against a CAA opponent. Great players, great coaches, and I'm really looking forward to see what we can do come league time.
So, not only is coaching one of the biggest adjustments that you've had to make, you've also had to move to a new city. You've had to start over, a new job, of course. So, talking about Williamsburg, how's it been transitioning here? You've brought your family as well and everything. So, can you just speak on that for a little while?
Yes, I did bring my family with me. Yes, it's been great. Northern Virginia, which is where George Mason is, it's a great area, but for my wife and I, it just didn't ever really feel like home. We're both from very different geographic places than Williamsburg, but they're similar in terms of the size of the places we're from. So this, it took us a while to feel settled here, because there's a lot you go through when you're moving a family and two little kids. But from the day we got here, it felt like home. And I think that's been the best part about it. People here have been just unbelievable with us. My wife has met a ton of new friends. Our kids are so little, like they have no idea really what's going on. So they've been great through the whole thing. But we love it here. I mean, it's a great area. It's a great place to raise a family, and couldn't be more excited about living in Williamsburg.
Awesome.
Yeah, how much has with the William-Mary athletic program done in kind of easing that transition process? Because I'm sure that's a big part of it.
Yeah, they've been great. Whether it's been the administration, fellow coaches, just other members on campus that we've had a chance to meet through different social events, or just having young kids. You get a chance to just meet people that are associated with the school, and there's just been so many people that have, like I said, have just kind of welcomed us with open arms, been very much there to help us with whatever we might need, and it's been very much appreciated by our entire family. So, and there's a lot of student athletes that are good babysitters here, so that's huge.
Talking about one person in specific, so you and head coach for the football team, Mike London, are both first-time head coaches here after extended stays by the previous head coach in their respective positions. So how have you guys interacted, and what's your guys' relationship like?
Yeah, Coach London has been great. He was one of the first coaches I met when I got here. He came to the press conference, and we had had a number of opportunities this spring to spend time together, going out to different alumni events and talking with our boosters and donors and alums, and so we had a couple of long car rides where we got a chance to just get to know each other. He's been great. I've loved watching the football team this season. Just the energy they play with. You can see there's a really good culture on the sideline, and I'm really happy for he and his staff with some of the wins that they've had, and just like I said, I've just really enjoyed getting to know him to this point.
Yeah, and it's that culture that I think is what Samantha Hughey is trying to reinvent here. So can you talk a little bit about the vision that Tribe Athletics has more holistically?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you come to a place like William & Mary, I think the first thing you have to embrace is the academics here. And a lot of times people talk about, geez, it must be hard to win at a place like that has those academics. And to me, I think the academics it's our biggest advantage in recruiting. And I think we have to embrace what that is. We have to embrace what the student-athlete experience here is. And, you don't have to shortchange academics to have success athletically, and you don't have to sit here and say, well, we don't want to be good at athletics because our academics are so good. I think you have to find a way to blend that, and that's something that we are really trying to do as a basketball program, which I know is very consistent with the athletic department. And then I think the other thing, and this I think stems from President Rowe, is that I think she's very aware of how athletics can help raise the profile of the school, and that's something that's exciting for us. The opportunity to go out and represent everybody here, the faculty, the students, and we'll talk a lot about, we put the jersey on that says William & Mary. It's not just representing the 15 basketball players in our program. It's representing everybody associated with this place, and that goes to the people who have come here before us, to the people that are here now, and I think it's a great community building opportunity, and we definitely don't take that lightly.
Great. So you have been to the tournament before. Now, William & Mary is one of the few Division I basketball programs that has yet to reach the dance. I know that it was said as soon as you got here that whoever the replacement would have been, that the intention for the program is always to get to the big dance and compete in March. So what kinds of things do you think you can and are bringing to the program that can help us get there?
We're getting into a tough question. Tough question segment here. Well, so I think first of all, if you're gonna win at that level, number one, you got to have the right people, and that's going to be a level of talent, obviously, that you have to have when you're talking about our basketball team. But you got to have the right kind of teammates, and team chemistry is a huge part of this, especially when you're talking about going through the daily, the grind of a season and the ebb and flow and roles changing for guys, and you got to have guys that are really bought in. So I think that's been our biggest focus since we've been here, is just getting the right people and helping to establish that team culture. The other thing that I think you have to do is you've got to have something you can hang your hat on the court. And we've talked a lot about, as a team, we want to be a team that can really defend in the half court and can really execute on offense in the half court. And I think a lot of times people get too caught up in trying to be too good at everything, and then you're not great at anything, and we want to be very simple and consistent with our players of this is who we're going to be, this is what we're going to be about. And then we've got to have that mindset of we just want to try to get a little bit better every day. We don't talk a lot about results with these guys. We talk a ton about, that core values of preparation, our performance, and if we can do that and just keep that going throughout the season, and again, obviously, you got to stay healthy. You got a chance to play your best basketball at the end of the season.
So before we let you go, we've got a surprise little rapid fire question round. We just wanted to get to know Coach Fischer a little more. So most of these are not basketball related.
Okay.
All right, just let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Who is your coaching idol?
Brad Stevens.
Who is your pick to win the NBA championship this year?
I'll go with the Celtics. Brad Stevens.
Okay. What's your favorite band?
Oh man, Darius Rucker.
Your favorite subject in school?
Oh man, let's see. I'm debating because there's so many. I was always a math guy.
Dog or cat person?
Well, dog for sure.
Yeah. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
And finally, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
The turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
Beautiful. So it's been a good episode. I've been joined by
Brandon LaRocco,
Joey Bohley,
Dylan Wolfson,
And Dane Fischer.
And I'm Abhishek Goel. Thank you, Coach, for joining us on the podcast today. We've really enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.